illustrates why DaBaby isn't being blackballed. So in this article here, it's written by allhiphop.com. Recently, DaBaby claimed that he's being blackballed based upon the underwhelming sales of his Baby on Baby 2 album. Russ explained why he disagreed in a Twitter post on October 3rd. See what this says here. No one is blackballed, he said. He said, I just want to give my 2 cents on something in my industry. No artist is blackballed. Unless they cut off your Wi-Fi, remove your social media accounts, and take your music off all the streaming platforms, you are not blackballed. If you are famous and can still tell your fans, hey, I'm putting out music, then you're not blackballed. Fans will listen to your music or they won't. It's that simple. If you are a famous artist and you need playlists in order for people to listen to your music, how real are your fans? Why don't they support you? Regardless, we're giving too much credit and power to the DSPs, or digital service providers. It's like iTunes and Amazon and stuff like that, and Spotify for people that don't know. I know for me, as long as I can tell my fans I'm putting out music, I'm straight. I'm not entitled to any playlists, nor do I need them for any of my fans to listen to me. That's why they're my fans. You might have thoughts on that.
It's true and not true at the same time.
Yeah. How you feel?
How you
figure,
regardless of the ease of dropping and preparing music and putting it out to the masses, there's still a gatekeeper out there that can shift things and make it a little harder for things to come out or get heard. Fans absolutely are going to support you at the end of the day. As far as DaBaby is concerned, I wouldn't necessarily call him being blackballed or him that he's being blackballed, because his album sounds the same as the last couple albums he dropped. And he kind of fizzled a little bit based on that whole drama with that concert or something or another, where the controversial AIDS comment came out or whatever.
Peanut butter?
No, he had said something about AIDS.
Oh, it was like on stage or something, right?
Yeah, something about AIDS.
It was something about was it trying to lose weight?
No.
Oh, it was a different AIDS.
Yeah, it was different.
I feel like I remember him talking about that, and like Boosie defended him or something.
Something of that nature. It was
it was
that something else?
I know exactly what he said. It was like, if he had to said these things so close together, he might have been okay.
Right.
But then it just was too close for comfort, and then the Alphabet Boys jumped out on him.
Yeah, and then
boys and girls, and NIMBYs,
the whole crew,
non-binaries,
the whole crew. And then just some questionable behavior. Like, he's always into it with somebody. The whole Danny Lee thing with his baby and them getting into it online. And people are all into everybody's business, but that's all they're into. So if you're not doing that constantly, and unfortunately he kind of pigeonholed himself into that drama character, and he's not doing that, and the music is lackluster, then maybe that's his problem.
Right.
I don't know, but I do think that somebody can be blackballed, and maybe his situation isn't helping him as far as that's concerned, but I don't think it's hurting him to the point where just nobody's able to listen to his music if they want to.
Right. And I think that was kind of Russ's point, was like, nowadays you have direct access to your fans, right? So even if he has, let's say, like a deal with Adidas or something, or some brand out there or whatever, like they could drop him or they can not promote him anymore, but he still has access to his people. So
just like NBA YoungBoy is not on the radio at all. He has like maybe one song.
Yeah.
But if you want to talk about fans supporting somebody, they think he's better than everybody that's ever been out.
Yeah.
And anytime he drops something, they're streaming it, whether it's good, bad, or terrible.
I'm just curious about who they're saying, like, they're blatantly blackballing him. Like, who are these?
A couple people said that.
Like Meek Mill said it. I think Academics.
Yeah, Academic sides with whoever he wants to side with. And also, I can't wait to hear what Freddie Gibbs' numbers are, because it's probably going to make Academics cry at the end of the day.
This is the thing. When you talk about Freddie Gibbs, you talk about Young Boy. These have never been, because the thing is, for whatever you got to say about streaming, there are still people who are definitely gatekeepers for the playlist. But then even if you don't believe, radio is not what it was. Radio is still radio. And if you don't have somebody who can, push your record, or who's willing to push your record to radio, to mix show, there's still a whole machine that does that. And if, so-and-so programmer, and who's and not just an individual programmer, because there's they're the program directors or operations managers at these radio stations. They have a certain level of autonomy, but when the very head, I don't know if you guys know who Doc Winter is.
I don't.
Doc Winter is the head of all urban music for iHeart. Okay, and it's wild because like I used
That's
to
local, right?
No. iHeart is the national.
But it's
No, not iHeart. The local one is Radio 1.
I thought iHeart was based in Indianapolis.
Radio
No.
1 is
That was
based in
that was
Indianapolis.
Emerson in Radio 1.
I see.
But not that
That's how much I care about radio.
yeah.
Anyways.
But because not that I'm just saying he would do something like this, but say you did something and it ran afoul of Doc Winter. Doc Winter could say, we're not going to play any of this artist's record going forward. It's done for him on these stations, like every Z100 or hot whatever station that's in your particular town that's under the cluster of iHeart. There are people who are powerful enough and have enough influence they can just turn your lights off, and until you do right by them, or the relationship that's based on a relationship is repaired, then you're not going to get your song played. It doesn't matter what the streams are. It doesn't matter. Like at one point, 𝗀𝗃 didn't get his. He had he had gotten to it with somebody. I want to say at the Box in Houston, which is a Radio
Zero.
1 station, and this is years ago.
No, I'm thinking of more recently.
No, this is years ago, and he hasn't been interviewed or had any of his records played in his own city in about a decade.
He's
because
still doing all right though.
he's doing all right because he does. But just on Radio 1, you get in trouble if you play a 𝗀𝗃 record, and that's nationwide.
Well, they don't play none of that regional stuff here.
Yeah,
at all.
but at the same time, there's a big Radio 1 station in Houston, and they like when they do the Trey Day and stuff, they act like it doesn't happen. Because there are people who are, for lack of a better word, it's just petty in this business.
This goes to show.
But it's still about relationships. And if you have offended somebody and you've offended, you don't even have to be the person who presses the button. You could have offend the person who presses the button, who has a relationship with the person who presses the button. It can say, okay, this song is going for ads nationally right now. And it's like, no, it's going for ads, but it ain't going to get them.
Yeah, but like the 𝗀𝗃 situation actually kind of proves Russ's point, because 𝗀𝗃 is not getting played at all in Texas. Texas is big enough to where you don't have to sell outside of Texas. But he still has a day called Trey Day where all his fans support him, and all his fans have been supporting him since he was so-called blackballed.
But also, that's he's somebody like I say, NBA YoungBoy, Boosie, Russ. These are people with grassroots followings. DaBaby was getting them pop looks. He was getting those big time media radio looks, and now that all seems to be cut off for him for whatever reason.
I think.
Then he said something about Meg Thee Stallion when they had the song. He came out pretty much in support of Tory, which is that's messy.
Yeah. So
now he drops a song where he's talking about how he's had sex with Meg Thee Stallion, hoping that was going to gain him some traction, which gained him some traction for that day.
It's like when Kanye Westing goes wrong.
But see, this is where relationships come into play. Meg Thee Stallion is represented by Rock Nation. Think about how many artists on Rock Nation's roster. Meg being one of them.
That went plastic too.
But at the same time, she has so many recurrents. Yeah. Like you still can't turn on the radio and not hear Meg Thee Stallion.
No, you're gonna hear Meg.
So, and plus, like I said, she is backed by Rock Nation. So here's a whole building full of people who was like, okay, you're gonna talk about our artist and demean her in this particular way. The people in that Rock Nation building can make the calls to the people I'm talking about, who run all of urban radio, and say, we see this is going for ads. If you want a particular budget, if you want access to this particular artist we have coming out with a new project in the fourth quarter, then we need you to not press the button on DaBaby's record because of our relationship. And that's how it works. Now, once again, if you're really a fan of DaBaby, you're going to listen to his records regardless. But if you are one of those people who's just kind of like, oh yeah, that song by DaBaby's on the radio, or if you're just a DJ that's working a mix show makes certain songs hit the club circuit, and they tell you, yeah, we're not going for any ads on mix show. And if you play that Baby record, which is why, like, a lot of people, when they say, oh, I want to play records on the radio, I want to get in the mix show, it'll break your heart when you realize you're given a list, and if you play outside of that list, you won't be invited back.
I think a lot of DaBaby's problem was
his
his actual record sales. Like, nobody's buying or streaming it the way he thinks that should be happening.
Yeah, and also he's looking at BDS, he's looking at radio and records, and he's like, wow, I went for ads and I didn't get one.
Look,
I went for this and no one's. I went from being played on the radio every 45 minutes to not being played on the radio at all.
which is why I think I agree with Russ because, like, sure, everything that you guys have outlined, I get it, right? Sure, there's different levels to being blackballed on corporate levels, but at the end of the day, he's not if he has fans and he has access to all this stuff, you still have access to do all the things that you need to do. You may not be getting corporate money, but you didn't play the corporate money game right. That's just what it is. I mean, you can call it blackballing, but it's not like it's nothing that nobody doesn't already know. You know what I mean? Same with Kanye West and all the other stuff.
I thought about what Tyler said a few months back. Tyler said, like, it's crazy how people will make a particular song or a piece of art, they'll tweet about it once and they'll move on, or they'll try to complain their way into people getting on board with their music. Tyler's like, I have a couple of Grammys and I still promote my record like it's brand new.
But that's I guess that's my point. Like any type of defense that academics or like even the stuff that you're talking about, we're talking about it from a super like privileged like standpoint of like you already have access to stuff that nobody else has access to.
Right.
Except for like this super top tier A-list, Beyonce, Jay-Z, Megan Thee Stallion, DaBaby. So, I mean, if the argument is like, okay, DaBaby's no longer on the A-list, okay, cool, I get that.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as like being blackballed from the music industry, in 2022, you determine what you are in the music industry. I think Russ is the perfect person to speak on this because he
never heard his songs on the radio or anywhere. He has a grassroots following that is unrivaled.
Yeah,
unrivaled.
So, like, I agree with him because, one, he knows exactly what he's talking about, and he has full control over his fan base. And if you're only selling, 16,000? What was it?
Some small, between 16 and 19,000.
Yeah, after almost doing 100. So 16, 19,000 in a week, that's including streams, or are they combining multiple streams to equal like one sell? I don't know how that works.
It's at this point it's equivalent units. So like everyone streamed your record enough to where
for 16,000. So which is super low. So I mean, it just kind of shows that whatever he's doing without the label push or maybe not a label push or whatever original push that he's used to is not a lot of people behind it.
Or maybe he has to wait
your sound gets outdated too. And if you're not evolving or you're not making hits,
but that goes into it.
Yeah, you were in a situation where you were making hit records.
Mm-hmm.
So if you drop this album, just because you're Baby doesn't mean you have a hit record.
But at the same time, though, like if you're making hit records and you have fans, you would think that those people that like your hit records, they would at least go and check you out to see if they continue to like your stuff. But if they're not even looking at it and they're not even looking them up when it's dropping, it's like,
I don't know.
They ain't really riding for him like that.
Lil Baby took the Baby position, so
there can only be one Baby.
There can only be one Baby.
Pretty fair, because it was confusing is enough for me.
Yeah. Lil Baby's out here rapping his ass off.
I mean, but it's look, it just comes down to you do not. Your time just might be his time might just be up.
Maybe
his time might just be up.
I missed it, which is super cool. But like I couldn't tell you a Baby song. Oh, you know what? You know what? I've actually heard that white dude that looks like a lion. He's got that lion hair on TikTok.
The one that tries to rap like Lil Baby.
Does he try to rap like Lil Baby or DaBaby?
Lil Baby.
Well, never mind. I was wrong. So
I know you talking about. He kind of looks like one of the people under the stairs.
He kind of looks like a Fraggle Rock, like a
Or
Fraggle.
like one of the children of the corn.
Yeah.
The dude from
He's
Great
From the
Space
Burbs.
Coaster.
He's one of Gobo's friends.
He looks like the dude from the Burbs that says sardines.
Yes. Similar. Yeah, similar to that. Anyways.
Bum ass Fraggles.
That's
Yeah.
cool.